Hey everybody, it's Celeste. I just wanted to come on here and do a video for you today because I have some new subscribers and I didn't want you all to think that I'm gone. Um, I have been taking a little bit of a break from tarot, focusing on some other things in my life and my business. But I've been really feeling called to get back to this, and I thought I would do a video for you guys today. This is going to be a general reading for what's going on in the collective. If you're new here, you may or may not know that I read primarily for writers and creatives. I do have followers that are creatives of other kinds, like musicians, painters, makers, and you can certainly change up my language to suit whatever your craft, whatever your art is. But my people are usually writers, multi-creatives. And so today I just want to see what's going on in the collective. I'm going to light a little bit of sage to clear my space. We'll just get that going and set that aside. We're just going to let it burn. And we're going to start today. We're just going to see what comes out. Like, I don't have any specific guidance for how I want this reading to go. I just want to see what's popping up in the collective. As you know, I do a lot of collective check-ins. I don't usually start with a specific question unless somebody asks me to. I typically do that in my private sessions when somebody wants to work with me one-on-one. We can dig into what people's personal questions are. Oops, that one wanted to come right out, didn't it? The Empress. I'm going to pull a few before we start reading. That's how I usually like to do things. Got the Ten of Swords. Page of Wands, reverse. Ooh, there's a lot. These cards have a lot to say. Maybe I'll do another reading. Maybe I'll do a few. The Empress, reverse, the Ten of Swords, Page of Wands, reverse, and the Two of Pentacles. So what I'm actually feeling here, it's funny because I was actually going to mention this. And I was like, nah, don't mention it. But the last reading that I did, which I left everybody hanging on such a weird note. If you're thinking about quitting or something, I can't remember what the exact title was. But if you look back in my like my history of what I've posted, you'll notice that my last posts were about quitting. And I was really worried that people would think I was quitting. I'm not quitting. I'm never quitting. But I also didn't want to leave anybody hanging. But this is really what this is about. What I'm seeing here is somebody who is stuck in choices. Somebody has a choice to make and they know they need to make it. They're definitely at an ending right now. Something has just been kaput done for you. There's like been this sense of something that you were very excited about, that you felt very like. The Empress is a sign of fertility, right? There's the sense of the fertility having gone away. There's the sense of it being held up by something, maybe. And then there's the Page of Wands. That's a loss of inspiration, a loss of your fire, a loss of your creative fire is what I'm feeling here. And you know you need to make a choice. Maybe you've already made your choice. Maybe you're making your choice right now to move on. Gosh, that's really funny how I left off on that quitting note. It's probably not funny. Somebody probably took that to heart. If that was you, I'm sorry. So let's get a little bit more information. We have the Hierophant. Somebody else is holding the key here, or at least that's how you're feeling to your future. The Nine of Wands. Defensiveness. Maybe you've lost your defenses. Maybe you've kind of given up defending. Just getting that that's not a straightforward Nine of Wands. So, disempowered. And for those of you who are new here or haven't watched a lot of my readings, you know that I don't read reversals the way that a lot of people read them. I don't follow the book by what reversals say. I'm an intuitive reader, and when I see a reversal, I get a strong feeling usually about how to read that. And I tend to read things in terms of empowerment or disempowerment. So a lot of times when I see a reversal, I'll think of that card and its disempowered state. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How does it seem to you as a person? And maybe how does it seem on the outside? And I'll usually get, like, based on the other cards, that's how I'll read that. So we have the Seven of Swords here. I'm going to get more before we read into that, but there is definitely a sense of somebody else. What I'm getting is, actually, this has kind of been going on in the collective. People are really tired of other people kind of holding the key to their, or feeling like they're holding the key, because ultimately, ultimately nobody does. Nobody really does hold the key. It can seem that way when you're stuck in 3D thinking, when you're stuck in living from that place of survival and not from inner power. But ultimately, this is looking to someone else to save you, someone else to lead you, and you're just sort of laying that down like you're tired of it. And we have this very active energy of like taking our swords and running away or leaving. The Fool. Yeah, you're setting off on a new journey. You definitely are making a choice. You're in the, I would say, like the hallway of making a choice. You're trying something on. You're wanting to start over, and you're not really sure maybe how you feel about that. Maybe you are sure how you feel about it. We'll see. The way that I read too is like, if the title resonated with you, there should be a message in here for you. If the title did not resonate for you, it's probably just not your reading. That's how I try to title things, so that you will find the reading that's right for you. Okay, we have the Five of Wands. Yeah, so there's some significant struggle here that you're seeing on this new path. You're really wanting to take a new plunge, but you are really anticipating some drama and strife. Five of Wands is not a bad struggle. This is not the kind of struggle that you want to give up. This is kind of the inspired struggle. It's the thing that you want to put your energy into, but you know it's going to be work. And I'm not going to say more about that. We'll see what comes out in the cards again. I'd like a little bit more. Oh, actually, let me just go into this. I want to know what this is about, this Seven of Swords, and I want to know what this struggle is really about. Is there anything hidden that I need to know, is what I'm really wanting to know. Is there something I'm not seeing? Something I'm not seeing, Spirit. Okay, you have choices. This could also be like super confusion. Seven of Cups can be like, I have a lot of things I could be doing with myself, and I don't know which one is the right one. This is like, to me, this is also the card of, I look at this card as a multi-passionate creative. I look at this card as like, which thing do I go to now? Like, I have all these wonderful things that I really love spending time with and that I feel like I'm good at. But it's like sometimes choosing is difficult. Yeah, look at that. So now we have the Nine of Cups. So there's this sense of knowing that you could be fulfilled in multiple directions is what I'm feeling from this. And so picking one is a little difficult. You might be worried that you're going to have to give something up, and you might have to give something up temporarily to succeed at the one thing. You might, like, on the whole, you'll probably never give those things up, but in order to focus, like if we're talking about your writing, or if you're turning to a different direction with your writing, say you're leaving one type of writing and you want to go do another, you might have to give up that thing that you were doing before to put all of your energy into the new thing. It can be a little bit scary. A fear of loss of self. I'm not seeing that in the cards, but I was hearing that. Page of Cups, yeah, actually. But you know, you have to take a chance. You are very aware that you have to take a chance on yourself. I like this reading because whoever this is for, you're held back by a little bit of fear, but it's not the kind of fear of like, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to play it safe. Like whoever this reading's for, you're ready to move. You're just a little bit hesitant about, like, you got to pick the one cup. You're afraid of picking the wrong cup, whatever that is. This thing is the thing that you want to move forward with, and you are not sure what is going to lead to this fulfillment. And I must also point out that the Nine of Cups next to the Page of Cups, we have this, you're gonna, there's a sense of you're going to have to take the role of the student. That's actually really funny that that's coming out, because Amelia from Amelia Tarot just tagged me, and she was posting about the same thing today, about starting over and being a student again. It's a little bit scary. And then we have the Queen of Swords. Yeah, I think you have a blockage around that. I think you have a blockage around being, like, that feels a little bit disempowering to you. You like to be right. You like to know you're right. And so to step back into this kind of beginner energy really makes you feel deeply uncomfortable, because you were the Empress, okay? Like, you had this sense of, I know what I'm doing. I'm very fulfilled. I'm meeting all my goals here. I'm living in this rich creative soil of my life. This could also be about a job, or, you know, that you're good at, that you want to leave. Like I said, she was talking about this in her reading, which is very funny that it comes up. Not a coincidence at all, I'm sure. And if she's listening, hello, Amelia. We have the Nine of Swords here. You are losing some sleep over this, maybe. Or maybe it's just turning in your head. It's the anxiety, overthinking, self-doubt. And you're worried about losing something. Again, we have a Queen in reverse. You're very worried about being seen as less than. It's a very uncomfortable place to be. If you have reached a point in something where you're like a master at it, or even where you were just very comfortable, to have to step out of your comfort zone. These are not empowered queens. These are disempowered queens. And that may be just a fear. We have the King of Wands. Maybe you're afraid. What came to me immediately with this King of Wands is maybe that you are afraid of losing your passion for the thing if you start channeling your life into it. That can be a big fear for creatives, that if you start to center your creativity, that you're going to lose your passion for it. This is a king who is not in his power over his inspiration and his passion. This can be very, if this is a person, I'm not reading this as people here. I usually do read queens and kings and pages as people, but I'm getting a very strong sense of this is not a person. I'm getting a strong sense of this is your inner masculine quality, your inner qualities of action and life force, drive, and you're worried about that getting sidelined. This is what you're scared of. Scared of losing material, or maybe not making enough money, or losing money. Which, if you're leaving a job, you could be losing money. Is there anything else here, Spirit, that we need to be aware of? Actually, I'm going to pull a different, let me pull a different deck. I'm going to ask a few more questions here so you can get a full feeling here. I want to know what you're leaning on, because we have all your fears out on the table, and we have your want and your desire, and we have your fear here. And I want to get into what are your inner strengths, what's supporting you on the inside. What do you have to lean on when you're in these times of strife? Knight of Cups. Love, a real love of what you're doing. It's like true love, right? Yeah, and I think that you really have made this decision. Like you have become, like you've reached a point of like, I'm tired of thinking about this. I'm ready to do something. So you've made a decision. You've become, you're seeing pretty clearly. Like I am not the coach. I know that a lot of people are coaches who will tell you, don't worry about money, go ahead and jump and you'll figure it out. But I'm very aware that like we need money to pay the rent. Like you got to eat, you got to have a place to live. You're not just going to evaporate into the spiritual realm where you're happy ever after. So you're seeing all of the possibilities. I think you're seeing the good as well as the bad. But here's that Queen of Swords again. What I'm getting here is that there is a sense, I think that you have a strong sense, since this is a strength, you have a strong sense of what you will not tolerate, what you will not put yourself through, what you will not tolerate. You're not going to put yourself in a position where you can't take care of yourself. You're not going to put yourself in a position where you're feeling like you're being disrespected. The Queen of Swords reverse she is somebody that has some big old boundaries. Those boundaries can be a little bit, harsh sometimes, but sometimes that's what's needed to take care of yourself in this world. Nine of Cups. Okay, this is interesting. We had the Nine of Cups before, and it wasn't in the reverse. You're absolutely willing to, excuse me, I'm very picky about my cards. You're willing to give something up, which is interesting because you understand, like there was that thing about you understanding that in order to get from point A to point B, that you would have to make a sacrifice. And you're willing to sacrifice something here. I'm not sure what it is. It's something dear to you, whatever it is, but the dearness might be ego. There might be something egotistical about the dearness. Might be that you're willing to downshift some other things in your life so that you can afford to make this shift. Can I get another clarifier on the Nine of Cups? Six of Cups. Oh. Yeah, you are willing, the things that I'm getting that are dear here to you, that you're willing to sacrifice. Some of you might be a little bit worried about a relationship, somebody maybe that you love that doesn't understand, and you're willing to be a little bit uncomfortable there while you figure this out, which is a good thing actually, because you can't figure it out if you're not willing to get uncomfortable with it. And you might have some things to work out. You're just aware that someone else that's very close to you might not be totally on board with this change you want to make. You're willing to rock the boat in a relationship. You're also willing, this is interesting again, you might also be willing to, if this was about like a pay cut or downshifting your standard of living a little bit, I don't want to go there because I don't want to assume what it is, but like if you're going to say you want to like change jobs or something, maybe you want to change your day job, you might be willing to take a pay cut so that you have more time and energy for writing, if that's what it is, or for your creativity. You're willing to go there. And honestly, this can cause, I'm not seeing a rift here when I see this, when I say that this is about a relationship. I'm not seeing a rift. I'm seeing like a negotiation. Like you're going to, but there's loyalty here. You're a little bit worried about pulling your weight is what I'm seeing here between the Six of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. This is like a fear of maybe you've been an equal contributor to, maybe the loss of income will affect your family. And I'm not seeing here that you're quitting a job. That is not what I'm seeing. It could be for some people. It could just be changing jobs, going to one that's a little bit less demanding, something you don't have to take home with you. Yeah, you've feeling trapped. You've been feeling trapped and you're really ready to come out of that energy. You don't want to be there anymore. And that is a strength. That is something you're ready to move on. Six of Pentacles. There's that fear of, there's definitely a fear here of losing resources, which honestly, it's risky. It's risky. Doesn't mean it's not worth doing, but you have to be real about it. Real about it without getting lost in it. The Two of Pentacles. Yeah, you're worried if this is the right choice that you've made. Is it the right choice? All right. In the fight, yeah, there's that fear. That fear of losing everything, of poverty. Aren't we all afraid of that? Yeah. So I think I've pulled enough on that. I feel like I've gotten all I can get on that. I want to move into a little bit of guidance for you. Just checking my camera because I haven't had this set up for very long. Okay. So let's pull some guidance as you're moving forward with this decision. As you are moving into this hallway, what do you need? I want to pull some cards about, these cards are about sacred surrender. So what do you need to surrender? What do you need to let go of? We think of surrender sometimes as giving up. It's not. It's letting go of, we can be letting go of things, people, ideas that we need to let go of that are holding us back. Yeah, surrender negative thinking. We don't need to focus on it. You're like, you already know what could go wrong. The more you focus on it, the more you make that a likelihood, to be honest with you. Surrender resentments. Yeah, so maybe you have some resentments about this thing that's been holding you back, which to be honest with you, it kind of looks like a job. Maybe you're resentful of needing to keep making the money that you've been making. Maybe you're sort of resenting that. That can happen when we get stuck in a job that's no good for us as creatives. But you're going to have to surrender your resentment. And obsessive thinking. So you have some obsessive thinking. We saw that a little bit with the repetitive cards that we saw in the spread. I did not pull that many cards, and there were at least two of the same cards on the table, which indicates a little bit of focusing really hard on something negative. So you're worrying. There's a little bit of obsessive worry about what could go wrong, and not probably. So this card always reminds me of obsessive thinking. This person is trapped. They see themselves as trapped, but if you notice, she's looking in a mirror. She's not actually trapped. That is an illusion. She has trapped herself. She probably has choices that she could be making. Maybe they're not her favorite choices, but there's probably something she can do that she hasn't been thinking of. So if we can kind of release ourselves from this obsessive thinking, then we can move into a more problem-solving place. Let me see. Let's pull a few more guidance cards. I'm going to pull lots of guidance. Yang. Okay, but it's in reverse. So yang, our yang energy, this has come up before in this reading, so I'm going to read it this way. Our yang energy is our masculine energy, our so-called masculine energy. It's the energy of doing, of protecting, taking charge, that kind of energy. And what this is telling you is maybe you've been caught in this, they're seeing, okay, give me a second. Okay, what I'm hearing here is not that you need to stop doing. There is something here that you need to do, but you need to not, like, there's taking action and then there's taking action like a freight train, right? And they're saying you need to temper your yang energy. So you make a decision and you start moving toward it and you see how it feels. But action is needed. Don't sit here and wait for someone else to save you. They're not coming. okay? If you're unhappy, you have to make a decision to change something. You got to change something. And even if you can't quit your job, you might be able to get a job that is better. You might be able to, maybe you're not writing. Maybe you just need to begin. Poised. So this is speaking to a need for you to stay centered, which is kind of what I was saying, staying centered in your action instead of just getting on the train and letting it carry you away. You're going to stay poised. Stay present. There is something here that is needing you to get out of this carried away energy. Okay, fork in the road. What I'm getting from this, because it's in the reverse, is that you're seeing it like I have to go one way or the other. And they're saying that you don't always have to go, like sometimes a choice does not lead you farther away, like from, there are things in your life that they can kind of run parallel, I guess that's the image that I'm being given right now for that. Is that sometimes we do not have to, it's not as black and white as X or Y. There are times in life where these things run along beside each other for a while. Maybe even forever for some people. That's not a bad thing. It's not always either or. Sometimes it's both and. Stop thinking black and white. Yeah, new life. Your black and white thinking is preventing new life from beginning here. You don't have to change every single thing. There is some caution in this reading, but not the kind of caution like it's really a caution to just be wise and be smart. Work smarter, not harder, right? No place like home. Yeah, and they're saying that if you take this, if you just approach this with your centered, calm, wise energy and take the next right step, it's going to lead you home. It's going to lead you exactly where you need to be in life with this issue. Do I want to pull any more cards? Let me see. I do want to pull a few more. Courage. Stay courageous. When you change things, it can sort of feel like you're calling up a storm in your life. That's natural. There's going to be a little bit of unsettlement as you make a change. Stand still. Let's pull another one. Stand still and what? Okay, yeah, here we go. You are being called to take risks, and I think this is about being present with the risks that you're taking. Standing still, being super present while you're doing things that kind of upset your sense of what you have come to expect from your life. Like nothing ever changes if you don't take a risk. But again, that does not mean that you need to get on the freight train running full speed ahead towards something that you're not quite ready. There's a theme in this reading about not quite being ready. And we're never really ready until we take action and start to see what manifests from the action that we've taken. Standing still doesn't get it done, but sometimes it can provide a little bit of clarity. And healing chaos, yeah. So there's a sense here that going through this, taking this risk is ultimately going to lead to you healing some sort of chaos in your life. But you have to be aware that sometimes it stirs up a little bit more chaos as you're going. Like don't always expect everything to be calm. Sometimes we're led through change by trusting that we're heading in the right direction and that everything's going to be okay as long as we you know, are taking care of X, Y, Z and feel better. I want to pull some self-care cards because it looks like this person really needs it, whoever you are. You're going to have to take good care of yourself. So I'm going to pull a few cards from the self-care deck. Taking care of yourself can mean a lot of things. Sometimes taking care of yourself is making change. Date. Ooh. There was something about another person here. What I'm getting is that whoever that person is that you're worried about upsetting the cart with, make sure that you're spending quality time with them and paying attention to their needs without letting them derail you. Make time for them. Cafe. Do you have a coffee addiction? Because I do. Maybe you need to treat yourself. Sometimes we need to treat ourselves to our favorite drink. Focus. Yeah. Staying focused on where you're heading and on the present. Don't be looking back at all these fears and things that are creeping in. Those are not going to get you through. Those fears, you already know what they are. Mitigate them. Mitigate your concerns, but don't get focused on them. Stay focused on where you're going and what you want to create here. And I'm going to pull a couple personal power cards. Ooh, no, I don't want personal power cards. I'm going to pull from the Manifest Prosperity and Success deck. I'm actually going to pull one from the Love Story Oracle as well, because there does seem to be a relationship here that you are worried about. Some of you anyways. Somebody's worried about a relationship, and I'm going to pull a card for whoever that is. This is for the people worried about money. Maybe you're worried about both. Right. It is safe for me to be wealthy. Some people do have fears around making more money, like how that's going to upset and change their lives. Maybe that's you. It's safe for me to be wealthy. I'm always on the right path. When you're on the right path, everything flows to you more easily. There's that fork in the road again. Do you see it? And whatever you choose is going to be right. Whatever you choose, as long as you're choosing with that part of yourself that wants to feel better, it's going to be right. Can't lead you wrong. Like I said, I'm going to pull a couple love story cards. Love Story Oracle. These are by Deja Druitt, by the way. She's pretty awesome. I love the cards. All right. Whoever's going through a relationship or worrying about a relationship while they make some changes in their lives. Forgiveness. Focusing on forgiveness. There was a card about resentment. I'm getting it's related to that. Maybe you were resentful of expectations that someone else has of you, or that you had of yourself. Sometimes we can think someone else has expectations that aren't even ours. They belong to, they didn't have that expectation of us is what I'm saying, but we made it so. We just believed that that's what they wanted because they thought they were, they just were taking for granted the way their life was going. It wasn't that they wanted you to be unhappy. True love, yeah. Somebody's got to trust that this love is true and that it's going to be able to weather the change. So if love is true, how do you behave? How do you react? You forgive. Let go of resentments. And keep moving, right? And one more. Self-worth. So the person that when we're in a relationship with someone else, we can't be good to them unless we are being good to ourselves. And sometimes that's the conversation that you need to have with your other person. All right, I'm going to leave the reading here. I hope that you liked this reading. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment, follow me. And I am a coach. I'm a writing coach. I work with writers on their manuscripts, and I do life coaching. If you're interested in working with me, if you'd like a tarot reading from me, I have different coaching packages on my website, arachneproject.com. You can find that information in my bio on my page. And I do the only way that I do readings is a session called a soul session. That is a tarot guided coaching session where we use the tarot to look into some problems that you want to work on. And then we do a little bit of personal coaching around it. And then I do some energy healing to wrap it up. If you're interested in that, I'll leave that link, like I said, down below. We'll see you guys later. Bye.